Welcome to the Remedify Coaching Program podcast. Ready for another deep dive?
Absolutely, let's do it.
Today, we're looking at something pretty amazing, wouldn't you say? The human body and all its complexities.
Yeah, it's incredible.
We've got some fascinating slides here that you shared with us.
They really highlight some key points.
You sure do. And we're going to try to unpack those together today, look at some of the discussions going on about where we came from, how we got here, all that good stuff.
Sounds good to me.
Think of this as your guided tour through the wonders of being human, basically.
I like that. A guided tour.
All right, so let's start with this pretty powerful question that's right there at the beginning of your slides. Show me any evidence for the existence of God.
Wow. Right off the bat. Gets you thinking, doesn't it?
It really does.
Yeah,
It makes you stop and consider, okay, what would evidence even look like, right?
Absolutely. What are we even looking for?
Exactly. And I think, what we're going to be talking about today, the information in these slides, it kind of feeds into that question in a way.
For sure.
So speaking of these slides, they then move into the origin of life. And they highlight something really interesting, and that is that despite all of our scientific advancements, we haven't been able to create a simple biological protein from scratch in a lab.
It's true. We haven't.
And they talk about how the complexity of a single cell is beyond any machine that we've ever engineered.
It's mind-blowing when you think about it.
So, it makes you wonder about how did all of this information in DNA, this intricate code, how did it all come about?
Yeah, that's a big question. How do you get that level of complexity?
Yeah.
It's more than just putting parts together.
It's more than just like building a car,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
It's a whole other level. So, it makes you think. Okay, let's shift gears a bit and talk about the sheer scale of the human body.
All right, let's get into the nitty-gritty.
All right, so get this. The average adult human body has approximately 7 octillion atoms.
7 octillion. It's a number that's hard to even fathom.
It's a 7 with 27 zeros after it. It's like, whoa.
It really puts things into perspective.
It does. And here's another fun fact. Everyone, just like your fingerprints, you have a unique tongue print.
No two are alike. Amazing, Ray.
Isn't that cool?
It's those little details that always get me.
Okay, ready for some more?
Hit me with them.
We have around 9,000 taste buds.
9,000. Wow.
Yeah.
Think of all the flavors we can experience thanks to those.
It's incredible. And get this, the surface area of your lungs, if you laid them out flat, would be half the size of a tennis court.
Seriously. That's a lot of surface area crammed into our chest.
I know, right? It's amazing how it all fits.
The body is incredibly efficient in how it uses space.
Okay, here's another one that's a little bit, maybe you haven't thought about it before. We shed about 1.5 pounds of skin each year.
1.5 pounds. I never thought about it like that.
So by the time you're 70 years old, that's about 105 pounds of skin you shed in your lifetime.
Wow, that's a lot of skin.
Right. And on top of that, did you know there are about 32 million bacteria per square inch of your skin?
32 million. We're walking ecosystems.
We are. But don't worry, most of them are harmless.
That's good to know.
So it really makes you think differently about, what is the human body,
It's more than just what we see on the surface.
Okay, let's move on to our senses. This stuff always blows me away.
I know, our senses are amazing.
The human eye, it's often compared to a 570 megapixel camera. That's more detail than most high-end digital cameras can capture.
It really makes you appreciate the incredible detail we see every day.
It does, and in just 1 square inch of your hand, there are 9 feet of blood vessels.
9 feet. Packed into 1 square inch.
9 feet. 600 pain sensors, 9,000 nerve endings, 36 heat sensors, 75 pressure sensors. It's like a whole city in there.
And messages from a simple touch travel to your brain at 120 miles per hour.
It's incredible how fast our bodies process information.
It is.
What do you think about all that, all those sensory capabilities?
It's mind-boggling to think our brains are constantly processing all of this information from our environment all the time without us even having to think about it.
It's pretty remarkable. And then we've got the circulatory system, which is another marvel of engineering.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
60,000 miles of blood vessels in the human body.
60,000 miles. That's enough to circle the Earth more than twice.
It is. And your heart beats over 100,000 times a day.
A true workhorse.
It is. And you have about 2.5 trillion red blood cells.
2.5 trillion? That's an astronomical number.
It is, and your body is constantly producing new ones. About 2.5 million are created every second.
It's the nonstop factory in there.
And we can't forget about those white blood cells working hard to keep us healthy.
The body's defense system is amazing.
It is. These slides mention that our eyes and ears, they're actually more intricate than any machine that we've ever been able to build.
It's true. The level of complexity in those organs is beyond anything we've been able to replicate.
It really makes you think, huh?
It does.
We're made up of about 60 trillion cells, with about 10 million dying and being replaced every second.
Our bodies are constantly regenerating. It's like a continuous process of renewal.
And did you know that bone is actually stronger than concrete, ounce for ounce?
No way, really. I always thought concrete was supposed to be super strong.
It is, but bone is even stronger. And our noses can recognize and remember around 50,000 different scents.
50,000 different scents.
Yeah.
Our sense of smell is incredibly powerful.
It is. Even those processes that we think of as simple, they're actually pretty remarkable. Like, did you know that you get a brand new stomach lining every 3 to 4 days?
Really? I had no idea it regenerated that quickly.
Yep. Your liver has over 500 different functions.
500. It's like the multitasker of the body.
It is. Sneezes can travel at over 100 miles per hour.
Wow, that's fast. No wonder they can clear a room.
Teeth start developing 6 months before we're born. Our eyes are fully grown at birth.
It's amazing how much development happens even before we enter the world.
It is. And here's a fun one. It takes fewer muscles to smile than it does to frown.
So it's literally easier to be happy.
Exactly. 17 muscles for a smile, 43 for a frown.
I like those odds.
Me too. Okay, let's get to the big kahuna, the brain.
The command center?
It's got about 100 billion nerve cells with over 100 trillion connections. It can perform over 1 quadrillion calculations every second, and it's got a storage capacity of about 2.5 petabytes. That's a lot of data.
It's like the most powerful computer we know of.
It is. So, looking at all these incredible details about the human body, these slides suggest that it's actually a testament to an all-knowing, all-powerful creator.
It's hard to deny the complexity and design we see.
There's a quote here from Psalm 139.13. I will praise you, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made.
A beautiful verse.
It is. When you think about all of this complexity, what resonates most with you?
It's the sheer awe and wonder of it all. The interconnectedness, the perfect balance. It really points to something beyond random chance.
It does. Now, the discussion in these slides, it kind of shifts a little bit and talks about the idea that humans must have evolved, right?
And a lot of times, genetic evidence is used to support that idea.
Exactly. They talk about things like junk DNA, and that's supposedly 1 to 2% difference between human and chimpanzee DNA.
Yeah, those are common arguments used to support evolution.
Right. There's a quote here from Ken Miller, and he describes the human genome as littered with pseudogenes and junk DNA.
And he argues that this couldn't be the result of intelligent design.
Right. And Francis Collins, he suggests that junk DNA provides evidence for Darwin's theory of evolution.
It was a widely held belief for a long time.
It was. But then your slides bring up this ENCODE project. Have you heard of that?
I have. It was a massive undertaking, wasn't it? Hundreds of scientists working together.
Yeah, it was huge. And they analyzed the human genome for years and years.
For like 9 years straight.
Yeah.
And they really shook things up in the scientific community.
They did. And there's a quote here from Ewan Burney, one of the lead analysts, and he suggests that up to 100% of our DNA might actually have a function.
He said the metaphor of junk isn't that useful.
Right. And Robert Carter and Rob Stadler, they basically say that modern technology has kind of killed the term junk DNA.
It's really fascinating to see how scientific understanding evolves as we get more information.
It is. So moving on, the conversation turns to comparing human and chimpanzee DNA. And, we've all heard that they're like 98 to 99% similar.
Yeah, that's a figure that gets thrown around a lot.
It does. But back in 2002, Roy J. Britton found a 5% divergence when you count insertions and deletions, those indels.
Right, so already we're seeing a bigger difference than that 1 to 2%.
Exactly. And even in 2007, research was indicating a 5% difference, but the media were still reporting 1% in 2012.
Interesting how those numbers stick around, even when the science is changing.
I know. And when you compare the whole genome, not just parts of it, the differences are even bigger, over 15%.
That's significant.
And Jeffrey Tompkins, in 2013, he found that chimp DNA was only 70% similar to human DNA under optimal conditions. And Jay Wiles supports this too.
So we're looking at a potentially huge genetic gap between humans and chimps.
Right. Brain Thomas calculates that there are about 450 million genetic letters that distinguish human from chimp DNA. That's a lot of letters.
It makes you wonder how natural processes could account for that much change in a relatively short amount of time.
It does. Okay, let's talk about natural selection. Darwin's big idea.
Survival of the fittest.
Right. Your slides quote Darwin describing it as a process that's constantly scrutinizing every variation, rejecting that which is bad, preserving and adding up all that is good.
It's like nature's quality control system.
And the American Museum of Natural History defines it as a mechanism for adaptation and evolution where the best suited organisms survive and reproduce.
It's a pretty logical process when you think about it.
It is, but your slides make a couple of interesting points about natural selection.
Okay, I'm listening.
First, that it's only a selection process. It doesn't actually create new information. It just acts on what's already there.
It can only work with the building blocks that are available.
Right. And second, they quote a few people like Daniel Dennett, Ernst Mayr, and Jerry Coyne, and they all suggest that natural selection is like this driving force behind all of life's complexity. Some even go so far as to say it replaces God.
So they're saying natural selection is all you need to explain the diversity and complexity of life.
That seems to be the argument, yeah.
But isn't there a difference between a selection process and the origin of the information being selected?
That's the question, isn't it? Where did all that information come from in the first place?
Exactly.
So your slides then contrast this idea with the concept of a programmed intelligent designer. The idea being that life was created by God with a purpose.
Okay, so a different perspective.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that the necessary information was kind of like pre-programmed into DNA.
Like a blueprint.
Exactly. And it allows for adaptation, but within certain limits, like adapting to different temperatures, altitudes, things like that.
So it's not unlimited change, but a built-in ability to adapt.
Right. And environmental stresses, they're neither good nor bad in themselves.
It depends on the organism and its ability to deal with them.
Exactly. There's this cool analogy here with a car automatically adjusting its accelerator when going uphill.
Oh, yeah, I saw that. It's like the car has a built-in program to handle different terrains.
And that's compared to how our bodies respond to stimuli, like our sensors sending information to the brain and the brain deciding what to do.
So it's a programmed response, not just random.
Right. And Randy Guliuzza is quoted here saying that a distinctive of living things is their goal-directed operation. Like they're programmed to try to survive and thrive.
It makes you wonder what's driving that goal-directed behavior.
It does, doesn't it? Okay, ready for some big questions.
Bring them on.
These slides pose 3 questions about natural selection, and they're pretty thought-provoking. First, what does it actually do? How does it work?
Okay, back to basics.
Right. Second, since selection kind of implies intelligence, like when we're breeding animals, who or what is doing the selecting in nature?
It's a good question. Natural selection isn't conscious, right?
It's not like someone is out there picking and choosing. And third, is there observable evidence for all the information in DNA that doesn't require us to just take it on faith?
So are there any scientific observations that can explain where all that complexity comes from?
That's the challenge. The slides conclude by saying that natural selection is an artificial mechanism devised by man to replace the power and intelligence of God, and that, according to evolutionists, all design in life comes from evolution and natural selection.
But the slides are presenting an alternative view, that God is the creator.
Exactly. And then there's a whole slide dedicated to evidence for a creator God. It lists things like the existence of the universe, life itself, Genesis 1.1.
Okay, so it's bringing in the Bible as evidence.
Right. It also mentions the resurrection of Jesus Christ, the transformative power of faith in changing people's lives. John 3.16, Romans 1.19-20.
It's interesting how it ties those elements together.
It is, and it quotes Psalm 139.14 again, that verse about being fearfully and wonderfully made.
It's a powerful image.
It is. And then there are these 4 strong conclusions presented. That God is the creator of all things. Humans did not evolve from an ape-like creature. We were made in the image and likeness of God. And we have no excuse for not believing this, referencing Romans 1.19-20.
So it's laying out a very clear theological perspective.
It is. And it really brings us back to that initial question, doesn't it? The one about evidence for God's existence.
Full circle.
This deep dive into your sources has been truly fascinating. I mean, we've gone from the tiny atoms in our bodies to the vast universe and all the complexities in between.
And the question of our origins, where we come from, is one that's been debated for centuries.
It has. And there's a lot to consider, wouldn't you say?
There is. But no matter what perspective you hold, one thing is clear. The human body is an absolute marvel. The sheer intricacy and efficiency of it all, it's truly breathtaking.
It really is. And if anyone wants to explore these topics further, they can visit Tyrannus Hall Bible College online. The website is https://kk2020.storeshop Tyrannus Hall Bible College.
They've got a wealth of resources there for anyone interested in learning more.
They do. We encourage everyone to continue exploring these fascinating topics and to delve deeper into the ideas that we've talked about today. And again, that website is https://kk2020.storeshop Tyrannus Hall Bible College.
It's been a great discussion. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here, and thank you for listening to the Remedify Coaching Program podcast.